Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah. So, just hopped on here for a little short minute, man, to try to, just chop it up a little bit, man. Say a little something, about what's been on my mind, man, as far as, looking at the dawah scene and looking at the situation of the Muslims, knowing that we in a sacred month, knowing next month, Islamic month, is a sacred month, which is in a couple of days, Muharram, and seeing the behavior, of the Muslims, man, online, in person, it's unfortunate, man, and I think, man, this probably the worst I've ever seen it. And see, sometimes, like what I'm talking about, and sometimes people may think I'm speaking from a perspective of the environment I live in. But really, I'm speaking from a perspective of the Muslims that I conversate with and that I watch and view in other areas. Right? Even overseas. Druski, let me turn some more light on, inshallah. So alhamdulillah, but this was something that I seen coming. And I've been talking about it for a very long time, man. With the marriages, the street mentality. I remember doing a video saying how you have certain Muslims who have the real ilm, and they have high levels of education, but people kind of view them as nerds. And then I was saying you have people who from the streets and the prisons, they have a little bit of knowledge, but they have the people because they gravitate to them, and we just need some people who can kind of bridge that gap and bring both of those worlds together. And this will kind of create I would refer to as a safe space for the Muslims. Even like saying things like as far as the marriages, how people are going to have to start to get prepared, for this new version, the way people meeting and the way people socializing. Druski, let me pull up a Quran ayat real quick, because it's some stuff that I want to discuss, and I'm working my way into it, and I'm trying to be careful and not be offensive, because it's some issues, as far as this city that somebody wanted me to speak on, and things kind of concerning the Druski skit, right, and just all this fitnah that's going on. Druski, but let me pull up this Quran ayat, inshallah. Okay, alhamdulillah. So in Surah 2, ayat number 272, Allah Azza wa Jal informs the Rasul, right? You are not responsible for people's guidance. Right? The Muslims, Allah is telling the Rasul, you're not responsible for their guidance. Right? Because it is Allah who guides whoever He wills. Okay? So, why am I speaking on that ayat? Even in Surah Anam, ayat like 107. But anyway, the Rasul, even though it was speaking to the polytheists, like people who have multiple beliefs. And sometimes some people don't believe that you can fall into that and still consider yourself to be Muslim. But Allah Azza wa Jal tell the Rasul something along those same lines, like matter of fact, let's just look it up. Where he tells the Rasul, we have not appointed you as their keeper, nor are you their maintainer or their manager. Right? So I'm mentioning that because when you look at the community, man, and the marriages and the children of the bed and all this, everything that people done fell into, and but a lot of times people was refusing to marry them, trying too hard to manage their affair. Oh, well, if you doing this, oh, if you doing that, like it's on them. You see what I'm saying? People who in the dawah scenes, and like I say, I'm not gonna say any specific groups or names or labels, but saying stuff like, oh, well, this woman got 6 coolers, and without looking into this, she's married this many times a year and this and that, right? But would it have been better for her to fornicate that many times? Like all this stuff that people falling into, with all these people going on doing what they doing, and then they having kids and they not together, and then it's considered to be a child of the bed. But why do people don't have a fear of Allah saying, why didn't you marry them? You're not a keeper of their affairs. If the Rasul wasn't responsible for the people guidance, why do we feel like we are? You give the message and you break down what should be what, but it's too much people on the dawah scene. They trying to do too much micromanaging. Let me kind of clean it up, because it's like in situations where they should do too much, they do too little. And then in situations where they should do too little, they do too much. Right? Like, you can have a person in the community that's selling drugs in the community. You know they selling drugs. You know people meeting them at the masjid to get pills and to get different things. We're not going to speak about that. We're not going to say nothing to them. We're not going to encourage the children to stay away from these individuals. We're just going to let that be. But when it comes to marriage, two people coming to get married, and the way that our society is and the way that the system is, people meet in all type of ways because there's no system set up. And then, of course, people start trying to have, and I'm not knocking it, it's a good thing. People start trying to have retreats and marriage things where all these people can come together and meet, but sometimes it costs money that people can't afford. You see what I'm saying? So some people just can't meet, so they meeting on their own. And sometimes they already, they done got to know each other. Why not marry them? 6 months worth of sit downs, 3 months worth of sit downs, because if you do him wrong or you do her wrong, it's on me. That's not on you. That's not on you. You could go. I ain't gonna go too much into the salad, but I'm saying too many people trying to do too much micromanaging in the wrong areas. Because now you pushing people to do what they used to. We are raised in a hyper-sexual society. You know what I'm saying? But then when there's the gang members, the drug dealers, the people who bring in these elements that we feel like shouldn't be in the community. A little bit of sweat in my ear, y'all. Pardon me, man. I'm sweating a little bit. But there's nothing to be said. Why not micromanage that? So, but it is too much trying to oversee, and they doing too much in areas when they shouldn't be doing that much, and then in areas where they should be doing a whole lot, they're not doing enough, man. And with an individual like me, because I see this, I've seen it coming. I done seen forms of this happen before in my area. Like I said, man, I'm a product of a community that was collapsed, then it started to get potential, and then collapsed again. Right? So I see the signs of it, but I'm starting to see it on a large scale. So, trying to advise people, man, and seeing where the Dawah scene is going, you really need to start to learn your Quran. You really need to start to learn the Sunnah, because now the Dawah is changing. Everybody might not be paying attention, or everybody just, they seeing it, but they not seeing it. Something don't feel right about what's going on. Just just think about how long I've been talking about, and I'm not no big large name, but some of the Ashries with a name, they watch my videos, because sometimes they say little stuff back to me, or they might message me. Some particular Salafis with a name, they watch the same videos, and for a long time I've been trying to, not for them, because they're going to do what they're going to do, but people who hit me up that listen to both sides, trying to bring to a medium and show both sides without being biased. Look at it now. And like I'm gonna say to them again, as far as the Ashries, I listen to y'all say the Salafis, and like I say, this is for the people who getting caught up in it, and you really a new Muslim, or you've been a Muslim for a while, you don't know what's going on, so you're gonna say the Salafis, they hate Muslims, right? They kick people off the minhaj, right? And once they kick them off the minhaj, they can say what they want to say about them. They could do whatever they want to do to them. I agree with that. But I understand this is a small group, right, that does that. But now, what y'all trying to do is prove that they're not Sunni Muslims. Basically doing what? Kicking them off the Sunnah. Now, once you kick them off of the Sunnah, now you could talk about them any way that you want. You could do anything you want to do to them if you catch up with them or have the courage to do it, right? They're fair game. You could slander them. You could lie on them, right? Now, how is that any different? Right? Even coming up with new terminology. Like y'all just think about this. Right now, in order to be considered to be a Sunni Muslim, just to be a Sunni Muslim, which means you follow the Sunnah of the Prophet, you have to be Ashari, you have to be Maturidi, or you have to follow one of the four schools of thought. And then they claim, and then they put under a rainbow, that's because we all had the same Aqidah. But when you start to talk about Allah, none of the four Imams agree with anything that they say when you start talking about Allah. So how do y'all have the same Aqidah? This is just things that y'all have to say to people who are ignorant. And then do little stuff like this to to be a Sunni Muslim, you have to be Ash'ari, Maturidi, or follow one of the four schools of thoughts. Then pose the questions: are the Salafis Sunnis? According to your definition, how can they be? But what y'all fail to realize is, because y'all focused on a little group, what about all these Salafis that follow Hanbali fiqh? When y'all start talking about the scholars, Maliki fiqh, Shafi'i fiqh, don't that make them Sunni according to y'all? But y'all trying so hard to kick them off. Hold on, Doc Keek, man. Somebody on the side of my house. Hold on. All right. So they busying people with this argumentation. What they said that the Salafis do. They busy people with argumentation, with refutation instead of real knowledge. But what are y'all doing? Y'all busying people with what? Refutation. Which is really bogus. You know, I even heard, and it cracked me up because they be sitting up doing like this. The Salafis, when it's really Salafi, the Salafis think that Allah has an actual hand. They'll do like this. When no Salafi would understand it, thinks that Allah has a human hand. But you could tell them that 1,000,000 times. With this right here, with this yad, I can't hold the whole earth in it. So obviously it's not the same thing that Allah has. We're clear on that. That's a slander from y'all. Because we leave it alone. Allah said he has two hands. Allah says he created Adam with his two hands. With both hands. That's enough for me to understand. Just because I say, man, Allah said he created Adam with both hands. Nobody said Allah created Adam with two of the human hands that he has. I leave it alone. But then y'all add in, oh, because Allah said he had two hands, they actually believe that. Allah said it. But they busying people with this stupidity, man. And this is where the dawah is headed. And these things are slanders. Y'all preaching hate. Y'all teaching people to hate a group of people that aren't even paying y'all no attention. Oh, they're ruining all of the black communities. Every black community in all of America is ruined by the Salafis. Can you prove that? Is your community ruined by the Salafis? Well, and like, you know, I talk to a brother every day, and this is one thing that I asked one of these brothers, because they want to, they pushing this Wahhabism. So I asked one of them, I said, tell me one thing that they do that you consider to be Wahhabism. Right? Tell me one thing that they do that they consider to be Wahhabism. Oh, well, this is what they said. Oh, if you do this, if the women don't wear colors, they won't salam them. Women taught not to salam them. If you not one of them, you taught not to, they won't salam you. Okay, cool. Show me from any Abdul Wahhab book where he says don't salam a Muslim sister. No Muslim sisters can salam another sister because she don't wear all black. Show me this from any Abdul Wahhab book. But while you go through and try to find this, think about now how y'all telling people to be the exact same way towards people that's not Ash'ari or Maturidi. You're not even a Sunni Muslim if you ain't Ash'ari or Maturidi. That means what? You're not on the Sunnah. That means what? You're deviant. That means what? You're up on bid'ah. How is it any different? Y'all doing the exact same thing that they doing. And y'all busying people with this foolishness just like them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm mentioning this because this is how the Dow is starting to change. Y'all two sides to the exact same coin. You know what I'm saying? They just done have some foundation long enough for their dirt to be exposed. But y'all got some dirt too. Y'all got some dirt too. Wallahi. Y'all got some of the same dirt. And I know this for a fact. I'm saying wallahi. Y'all got some of the same dirt. Okay? Some of the same social ills, some of the same problems, and doing some of the same things. But I'm not going to talk about what it is. So, this is why I'm trying to tell these people, man, who's stuck on the fence, caught in between, can't understand this, can't understand that. Learn your Quran. At least read it thoroughly so you'll know what's in it. Learn those hadith so that you will be able to know when things come around and throw things up against the wall. They're going to have, everybody is going to have these different opinions based off of stuff that they haven't even looked at because they want people to follow what they own. I'm not calling anybody to anything except for Quran and Sunnah. I'm not calling nobody to Salafiyah. I'm not calling nobody to be an Ashari, Maturidi. I'm not even calling anybody to be a Sunni Muslim because now the definition of that has changed. I'm calling people to what Allah said we supposed to come to. The Quran and Sunnah. Now, they feel like, oh, well, all this Sunnah has to be explained. All this from this other opinion. So what are y'all saying? That the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't do a good enough job? I'm not saying don't listen to no scholars. Don't read no books by no scholars. But if you're not going to get into the Quran and Hadith, you won't know if it was a mistake that was made. Because we're going to say this. For the people who feel like they the real Sunni Muslims and nobody else is Sunni Muslims, they saying the exact same thing. If you sitting up saying all the Salafis think that Allah has a human hand and then they even go and do their hand like this, what are you calling them? A deviant? That's a bid'ah. That's an innovative practice. Look, I got a video. Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah said this, but which version of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah? Because people have to understand, real Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah was created to come form as a group based off of the creed of taking everything back to the text, the Athar. The original Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah was on the Athari creed. You see, these imams that they go through, the original, those imams alive in their lifetime, well, some of them based a lot of stuff off their opinion, but they preached, take everything back to the text, the athars, the narrations. So I'm not even calling people to be a Sunni Muslim. I'm not calling people to me. I'm not sitting up saying, hey, I done took some time out of my day, although it's 1 a.m., almost 1:30 a.m., and since I done took some time out, can y'all kindly throw $20, $30? I don't put no Cash App stuff up. I'm not sitting around doing this and that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not knocking it. And I'm not saying only one set of people do that. I'm not chasing no views. So this isn't about anybody listening to me. This isn't about trying to tear down this, that. Because if y'all listen to me clearly, they both do the exact same thing. They both do the exact same thing, just with different verbiage. So I'm saying, Y'all can bypass all of that. Go to what your Quran say. If Allah Azza wa Jal say He created Adam with both of His hands, just leave it alone. You ain't got to go, that's impossible for Allah to do because I have hands. Okay, create a human being with them then. And once you figure out that you can't do it, then you're going to understand that you're not liking Allah to you. Because you can't create anything with these hands. You can't create a life with them. And then anybody who, I done seen certain people, oh, well, I can create a baby. No, you can't. That's procreation. But a cat can do that. A roach can do that. An ant can do that. You see what I'm saying? Because Allah created our bodies for reproduction. So that's still Allah's doing. Look at how many people who try to have kids and can't. That's for Allah to decide. But even at the end of the day, do it with your hands. So whatever Allah's hands is and what He's speaking of, He can do that with them. We can't. So it's not the same. But anyway, man, enough of that. Get in your Quran, man. Get in your Hadith. And again, this is just advice. Because once you start hearing all this and hearing that from this side, from that side, and then some people, they just go to YouTube and look at a lot of clips. Anybody that's Muslim, anybody with Muslim attire, they don't know if they Sufi, Shiite, Maliki. They don't know if they telling the truth. They don't know if they making it up. If it sounds good to them, they're going to listen. They're going to listen to it. They're going to repeat it. But when you just at least read your Quran enough and read Hadith, which is the foundation for everything. Let me ask y'all something. Do y'all think that it's possible to have fiqh of madhabs without Hadith for the whole entire religion? Throw away every single Hadith, Sahih, Hasan, weak, fabricated, everything. Throw it all away. Throw it all away. You think it's possible for some people to come up with a way to to tell people how to deen in accordance with Allah Azza wa Jal? Say it flawlessly with what Allah Azza wa Jal is going to accept? No. Because even like I showed y'all, I only showed y'all one example. When I did the video about the hand placement and showed what they use as dalil. And when you look at it, it's not even dalil. Some people think this is just proof, and this is why they call it reasoning. This is the reason why we're doing it. So this is just proof for the reason why you're doing it, not proof that it's from Quran and Sunnah. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. And this is what the new dawah is turning into, man. This is what the new dawah is turning into. You got some people who preaching hate, teaching you to hate, going and talking about these scholars. Oh, this scholar, they said this, they said that, but don't even have enough wherewithal to know that scholar you talking about in Saudi Arabia, he repeating the exact same thing that Ahmed Hanbal said. He's repeating the exact same thing that Imam Shafi'i said. Because he's Hanbali in fiqh. So now what? Oh, but that go against Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Okay, so who is Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah again? The Asharis, the Maturidis, and the four Imams. Okay, that same scholar you slandering because you don't know enough about Hanbali fiqh. He's quoting from a position of Ahmed Hanbal. Y'all claim to have the exact same Aqidah as Ahmed Hanbal. He's quoting Imam Malik. That same scholar, but y'all have to cloak everything. Oh, well, that's just Wahhabism. But he's quoting from Imam Shafi'i. Y'all teaching people to hate the exact same way, man. And even when it comes to the Salafi, like I said, I'm not defending them. Just like I'm not defending y'all. But how do you hate some people because they teach hate, but then you're teaching hate? You're doing the exact same thing. So anyway, man, Quran and Sunnah, man, and with the correct understanding how it should be understood and how it should be interpreted. Because, like I said, when you put the ball on the table, when you put everything on the table and you analyze every single statement, and they talk about isnads, well, you don't have an isnad to the Rasul. You don't have an isnad that the Rasul explained it the way y'all explaining it. It's being just as deceitful as y'all counterparts. Y'all playing the exact same game, man. So the Druski skit, so I can get up off of here. There's a whole lot of truth in it. Okay? There's a whole lot of truth in it. Some people may not have been Muslim long enough, or they not aware of, and I won't say the city, and all of them, trust me, all of them wasn't, and I'm going to put y'all on to something. All of them wasn't from the same minhaj. But it was a time where it was a Muslim brother, more than one, they would dress up in niqabs. Yeah. They would put on a full niqab, or some going to say a burqa. They would dress like Muslim women, and they would rob banks. Yeah. Yeah. Some from a particular minhaj, some wasn't. Now, during this situation, one of them ended up getting killed. And because he was from this particular minhaj, and it was bringing embarrassment to this community, but the thing is, a lot of people knew what they was doing, and some people enjoyed some of those monies with that person. Right? But they refused to bury him. So there was a big fight, and there was a big thing. Daki. So it was a big fight because nobody wanted to do his janazah. You know, they didn't want to wash his body. Some time passed, you know, so they started having to go ask other masjids and things like that. So this was some real incidents. It was another incidents where, you know, sometimes they had women involved. Some of it is still on YouTube, like in real time, from like the footage where they had, you know, a couple of women. They had a green van, everybody dressed up in burqas, you know, niqabs and all stuff, and they robbed banks. So with his skit, but a lot of people not aware of that. But the thing is, you got to watch the whole thing from the beginning to the end, and there's a serious message in it. I can relate to the message because, like I've been saying in my videos, maybe not like right now, but when we was younger, Islam came with the gangs that you joined. I ain't gonna say the name of the gangs, but those who know. When you became a member of this gang, you had to be Muslim. Your literature had Islam in it. You couldn't eat no pork, but it wasn't nothing like you had to pray 5 times. You had to go to the masjid. As long as they never caught you eating any pork, you could do everything under the sun except for eat swine. Basically. You know what I'm saying? The other section of the gang that they connected to, because they all connected to the same tree, everybody who joined that gang had to be a Sunni Muslim. So the Islam came with the gang members. So in the full skit, he's an old dude who done got out of prison, and he done came home to try to regroup the younger ones. So he's doing a video, yeah, I raised them. This is for the people who haven't seen the full video. But you have to understand. So finally some people corner him in a room and start asking him basically, how did he get out of that 40-year case? So he's a snitch. He's an informant. This is some of the stuff that people be missing. So he making up some lies about how he got out of the case. He's a snitch. He's an informant in the skit. So he's keeping the youth lost. So then, he's going with the suit. The youth teach him how to fight. He fighting them. They jump him. He taking them to the liquor store, buying them Don Julio. And, he's keeping them stuck where he is. But keep in mind, he's an informant. He's a snitch. He gets people locked up. He's talking about how he beat his case. But they lying. But you understand? So then all of a sudden, he becomes Muslim. And then he get them to start dressing in and screaming Allahu Akbar. And then next thing you know, he got them committing crime. Although they said people wrapped up in this and they was doing this and that. But what you see this happen is you might not see it on that level. But how many Muslims pull other Muslims into drug dealing? Let's be real. In our community. A lot. Even and this ain't just here. You look at some of, and I'm not going to say their names, but some of the big Crips who may consider themselves to be a leader of the Crips, and they got a lot of pull, but they Muslim, and then now they caught up in a RICO, and it's showing all the extortion and murder. They innocent until proven guilty. But the things that they've been pulled into, and some of them been Muslim. Look at Little Dirk now. Look at Little Dirk. Look at your King Vons. All these Muslims, now they pulling into all these RICOs. Murdering and robbing and committing crime as Muslims. So it's plastered all over the place. But now you have a particular group, or he just trying to make fun of the Wahhabis. And this is a young guy. He's sitting up looking at Little Dirk and all them. All these Muslims and all these other people and things that's going on. So I'll say this right here. Why I didn't get offended. And it's going to bring me to discussing a situation here. A young brother, he hadn't met me in person. I seen him last Friday. And I'm going to play something. I'm not going to show her face, but I'm going to play some of the situation because they was around this situation. Let me pull up. So basically, one of the Muslims, he be in and out of Islam, but he'll tell you, around me, he'll say he's Muslim, but he done left everything. You know what I'm saying? I think the only thing he don't do is eat pork. I think he don't eat pork, but everything else, gone. Sometimes he busts his Quran and stuff out. So anyway, I've been knowing his sister since she was younger. So I see her, I get off work, it's midnight, I'm at the gas station getting some gas. I see her out there trying to get money from people. Well, not too far from her is this younger guy. He turned out to be one of the little Muslim brothers. So she come up to me and she want me to get a message to the Muslim brother. Do a video recording of me, man. Send it to my brother, cause I know their story. He don't agree with my lifestyle. Woo out the woo. She talking to him about her mother. I'm out there talking to her about 15, 20 minutes, and the little Muslim dude. So I'm gonna let y'all, just to show some validity, because like I say, some people, because I talk about certain things, they think that I'm just making up stuff to take digs at them because they have similar lifestyles. So the video is right here where I texted to the brother. I'm going to pull this up right here. Hold on, let me slide it down. No, because her face going to show. But Doc Keek, let me fast forward a little bit because she say his name and stuff in the beginning. And I don't want his name out there. I'm not going to show her, but I'm going to let a little snippet play. And then I'm going to speak about the brother because he's a victim of these Druski types. I'm going to refer to him as Druski types because, you know, what Druski was in the skit. He's a victim of them. Right? Daki. Okay, so I'm going to play just a little bit without showing her.
It's your little sister Tap the rapper. And you know, I got something to say to you. So, when I first started rapping, you was gone. And I went down in your room and I found these tapes and CDs. It was one with JJ Fat. They said, "What's your big pork chop list to keep flapping?"
So, this is a little bit of it. This is about a 10-15 minute video where, you know, she rap a little bit. She telling, you know, how she end up how she is, right? And she want me to get a message to her brother, which wallahi, I did. I sent it to him. And, you know, because she kept begging me to do it. And, you know, they out there. I'm not finna put no money in their hand. You know what I'm saying? Because they want drugs. So I bought them a few things up out of the gas station. Some substance, you know. So, you know, the little Muslim brother, he was like, man, you know, it wasn't like he treated me like a celebrity, but he was like, you know, it feel funny, man, finally meeting you while I'm like this. And I'm looking at him like, what you talking about? He was like, man, I be watching your videos. So I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I'm Muslim. You know, he was like, had she not came up and talked to you, I wouldn't have said nothing because of the condition that you seeing me in. And, you know, not only the alcohol, not only the weed, he got other things in his system. Young brother in his 20s, right? So he was like, man, it's funny seeing you. You know, I hate that you seeing me like this, man. And I was like, you know, do you be going to the masjids? He was like, yeah, I've been to both of them. So I was like, okay. So he was like, I know such and such, such and such. So I was like, okay. So he goes on to say, I'm like, you know, who called you to Islam? So when we had this youth program, well, they had a youth program, and I went up there to try to teach Islam. Okay. He was cool with them. And he was cool with one of the ones who passed away. This been a couple of years, but the other one just passed away some months ago, like about 6-7 months ago. Well, no, because we in June, and this was at the end of last year, maybe in like October, maybe September. So one of them got killed down the street, one of the younger Muslims. So he was a teenager with them, and so he was saying how a lot of them done fell off, and you know, and they used to, like, when they would be around each other, although they doing their little thing, he was like, they would be like, man, we wish they wouldn't have never made the brother feel some type of way where he stopped coming around. And, you know, we feel like we not learning anything. So, you know, he telling me stuff about being around them. And I'm just going to put it this way. Some of these guys, they pushing 60 years old, still trying to run around like this. For people who understand this game, some of them still all like this. Right? And even when I was around, and I was telling them young dudes, I'm finna be real with y'all, man, before these people start pulling y'all into this stuff. They was Druski types. Old dudes who questionable. They run around like they got get out of jail free cards and things like that. But, you know, like Youngin is telling me, I watched your videos and I don't know a lot about Islam. But, you know, some of them brothers would do a lot of whining and pouting about you. Oh, man, he extreme. That ain't real Islam. That's how the Arabs care. He want to be like he in Saudi Arabia. This type of stuff, right? So, just to speed up the story, he was like, but when I listened to you and you would point out things in books, you didn't sound like them. they sound like they was just trying to talk slick. And he was like, man, and then I'm listening to what the other brothers is saying, and he was like, man, when we would be around them, we felt like we was around fake Muslims. They would be talking about girlfriends, and they would be talking about this and doing this and that. And when they would talk about Islam, it didn't match the way that they lived. And then he said they was always trying to OG us. Right? They was always trying to treat us like they was our OGs, but it's more like they was trying to teach us how to be cool and have, this is what he said, old NIGGA swag. Right? They was always coming, or they talking about old gang stories like it was impressive to us, but we trying to change our life. We trying to be Muslim. They didn't sound like you. So he said he also watched Mufti Muhammad. He was told about him. He was told about Shadid Muhammad. He said, I would watch your video and you would say some things, and then maybe a month or two later, I would hear Mufti Muhammad talking about it. Or I would hear Shadid Muhammad saying something similar. But them, I never hear nobody saying the type of stuff they saying, but them. But like I said, these dudes in their 60s, still running around trying to do all this. They still want to be recognized and, you know, like they want to be put on honorable mention as a gang member. 55, 60, 50, 40 something. And like dude said, and then some of the ones who are a little younger in their 30s and close to 40s, this where we get our pills, and this is where we get, you know, the stuff that got me out here shaking and baking. I get it from them. And then they always trying to talk that cool gang stuff. They dealing with a Druski type. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, when I try to talk to some of these older cats, man, they didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? And like the problem is, real Islam will expose you. Real Islam will expose you. So these brothers started distancing themselves from them. They started peeping out their little ways. And you know, this is the same thing. Then they sitting up having them around people who, you know, it ain't no secret for people in the city, and y'all who ain't in the city, y'all don't know who he is. But he's selling drugs from the house behind the masjid. He done got raided. He in jail. He might have done used his get out of jail free card. He might be out. I don't know. But I know he got raided. I know he got busted. He all in the newspaper and all in the news, and everybody in the city know. He done got so drunk he riding around, and he wrecks into a police car. You know what I'm saying? But he's the OG. Yeah, let's go down, sit down here where he at and this and that. And like Shorty said, man, you know, they was trying to backpack us basically. You know what I'm saying? Throw a backpack on their back and get it how you live. This is what Shorty telling me. But they all pulling them to this. So sometimes they might not be like, let's go rob banks, this and that. But a lot of these old head Muslims, man, they keeping people from practicing Islam the right way. And then they trying to put drugs and a gun in their hand. You know what I'm saying? So now he out there, and it's like, man, you should have came around. Like, we need you. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, forget them, forget that. You know, because, man, we was really trying. But whenever we was around them, we felt like fake Muslims. Whenever we went to the masjid, we felt like we was around fake Muslims. You know, feeling like we don't think they really as street as they trying to act. Around Druski types. Still want to be recognized as a vice lord, man, and you're almost 60 years old. You in your 60s. You close to 70. And y'all still want to be recognized as gang members, man. Druski types. We the old head. We out here. We here to put our arm around you and teach you Islam. And like they said, when we watching people, like he said, when I'm watching these videos, they don't sound like nobody who I'm listening to. They sitting around still trying to be like these cool, trying to give us swag and talk to us about girls, and you know what I'm saying? And like one of them said, and I'm not gonna say his name, but he was like, man, we sitting around one, we go around him, his name is Abdul this. We go around this one, his name is this. We go around this one, his name is this. And then we go around another one, and he want to hit us with a street name. Hey, just call me Dookie. They call me Dookie when I grew up in Chicago. Yeah, so everybody see him, instead of calling him by his Muslim name, everybody call him Dookie. We just gonna say Dookie. This is strange to the shorties. This is strange to the shorties. Then he's sitting around talking about another one who's sitting around acting like this, and this, and they think he crazy. And all I sit down and say, I know all of them. I'm not going to say nothing about none of them, but I understand what you're saying. And grown people think he crazy too. You know what I'm saying? But my point is, that Druski type, man. And now he out here, got his pole on him, worried about his life, living life like he don't know how much time he got left, or like he gonna get locked up soon, and he want to be Muslim. And it's like, man, you need to come out. So he asked me, he said, man, you and a brother did a video, and y'all was in the masjid, and y'all was gonna do part 2, and y'all was talking about trying to bring the community together, and you was talking about saying something about y'all was gonna try to have some classes in the masjid. He said, man, I was looking forward to that. He said, man, what happened? What happened to part 2? And all I'm going to say is this. Because I don't want to be insulted, man. I'm just going to say it just like this. When I went to do that interview with that brother, right? I didn't have to do the video. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to do it, right? I'm not even going to go into how I felt it, whether I wanted to do it or none of that, but I wanted to teach him also how the proper way to do nikahs and, you know, put him on to something. Wallahi, I didn't have to do that. So when I went up there to do the interview, and we discussing, you know, trying to, for Ramadan, I'm going to do some classes and this and that. So I'm going to teach him to do the nikah. A real nikah is going to take place though. So I'm going to do it. So, you know, he wanted to get his wife on the phone. Okay? So we standing, and wallahi, this is a true story, right? We standing together. I said, okay, look, we got everything set up. We gonna go ahead and do this, get this nikah out of the way, and then we going to do the interview. So I said, because I had said a couple of days before, I'm gonna interview the brother this weekend on my channel. So I told him, since I announced we was gonna do the interview, right? I'm finna go through the masjid. I'm finna go live. Let everybody see what the masjid look like. This is what I said. Right? I'm finna let everybody see what the masjid look like. Because he needed to go get his wife on the phone. Why you taking care of that? He said, cool. We standing next to each other. I go live while he's standing right next to me. As I walk through the Musala part and I'm talking, me and the brother finna do the interview. I'm finna walk around and show everybody the masjid. He walks into a different Musala room that's for the women. But this is where we're going to do the interview at, to call his wife. So I'm going around showing the masjid, letting people see the masjid, but I'm really bigging up the masjid, trying to set things up because Ramadan is finna start. I'm going to be doing some classes, or we're going to try to do classes on the weekend, but also try to pull people in. So I'm really big up in the masjid. So I'm walking through, showing the masjid. It's a brother, me and him talk every day. Every city he go to, for the most part, maybe not every city, but when he goes somewhere and he chill, every masjid he go to, he send me videos and pictures of the masjid. Other people, everywhere they go, we always do this, right? So as I'm coming around, I come back in the room where we're going to do the interview, but he's still on there. So I show him, this the brother right here. He say what he going to say, he like, salam alaikum. So then I go back out to show the rest of the masjid and then walk past the door where he is. Right? So we're in the masjid. So when he say he got her, she ready, I end the live. We getting ready to go ahead and do the interview. Now I'm on live from my phone. So I have Wi-Fi on my phone, so I'm able to go ahead and post it. So I'm like, we sitting at the table, and I'm trying to post it, but I didn't have my Wi-Fi turned on. So I'm like, man, it won't let me post the video. He's sitting right next to me. I said, it won't let me post the video. And I was like, oh. So I turned my Wi-Fi on. I turned the Wi-Fi on. He was like, did it let you post the video? I said, yeah. So when it went through, and he might not admit this, he put a thumbs up on the video. And he's in the video. Right? He liked the video. So this was like a Saturday. So the video is posted. We doing the interview. We do the nikah. Right? Get the nikah done. Then we go and do the interview. Everything is cool. Everything is fine and dandy. Some people came, some more people ended up coming to the masjid and some other stuff. But I'm breaking out. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna go do some things. I got some stuff going on. So I leave. We talk that night. The next day, we talk some more and some things. Now keep in mind, Ramadan is like a week away. Like Ramadan is like the next weekend. So we talk all that day. Then we talked again that Monday. Tuesday, or it could have been Monday. Tuesday, I get a text from his wife saying, don't you think it was wrong to record the masjid without Dr. Ahmed permission? Now, one, I done came and recorded Jumar, some of the Jumar service for him because he was going to be giving a khutbah. When they was doing this a lot of times, I walked around and recorded the masjid. And you have to understand, wallahi, me, I'm not going to say the other brother, but the other brother, and Ahmed, we had the first 3 keys to the masjid. Okay? Once they got the locks done, and then he gave him the keys, me and him went and got the keys done together. Okay? So, the first 3 keys, me, Ahmed, and the other brother had the first 3 keys to that building. I had keys to the masjid for years. And wallahi, nobody was in it the way that I was. Friday, Saturday, like Friday nights, and even the brother know, when we got off work, at this particular time, we got off work at midnight. At midnight, when I got off work, wallahi, I went straight to the masjid. And then I would be in the masjid till like maybe 2 in the morning. Reciting Quran, praying. And then at the time, there was a brother who was living in the back. So, and then on the weekends, around Dhuhr, on Saturday and Sunday, sometimes even from Fajr, I would be in the masjid the whole day until 1 or 2 in the morning. Even when nobody shows up at all. I got a portable grill. Wallahi, a portable grill in the back. Sometimes Dr. Ahmed would be in there and like, wallahi, like my classes and me studying, I would be in there taking my classes in the masjid on the weekend. I would take my laptop and everything up there, and I would be taking my classes in the masjid. Sometimes he came in there. I would do videos in there, and I would do anything. So I'm mentioning that. Like I said, I had my grill. I would take some meat, everything, and I would grill, sit on the back steps, grill, sit in there, eat by myself, study, go through classes. It was an intercom in there. So I would take my phone, I would have another phone, I would have my laptop, I would take my phone and put, if I wasn't in class or if I'm just studying from books, I would put on like Salafi radio or something, because it would just play continuously, and I put it by the intercom, so it would play through the whole entire masjid. Ahmed knew this. I ain't had to go ask no permission, because the masjid was technically ours. It wasn't his masjid. Right? So, even with him. So she text me and say, don't you feel like it was wrong to record the masjid without Ahmed permission to get some views and likes? Now, even with my Facebook videos, and like I said, I'm explaining this, I'm going through this because the brother, he's been contacting me since I seen him. He's been telling me some stuff they've been talking about Juneteenth and all this other stuff, right? But anyway, he been contacting me, and he's asking me what went on, and he was telling me little things that had been said. So that's why I'm explaining it now, because other people also probably been told some different stuff. So when she say that, I'm like, what? Because one, I don't need Ahmed permission. Two, Ahmed don't care. I had keys to the masjid for years. But because some other stuff that was going on, Ahmed and them changed the locks, because basically the other brother went and passed out about 20 keys to people. Because of some things that went on between, I'm just going to say it, he was bogus. I talked to him, told him, he should have dealt with that different. So he got upset and just went and made a bunch of copies of keys and just gave them to anybody. And, people hiding stuff in there, So he changed the locks. When he changed the locks, I was so fed up with the situation, I didn't even go to him to get a new key. Okay? So even with this brother, I was the one who told him, because he wanted a masjid to go to when we had a situation that fell apart due to weird stuff. Due to these OGs wanting to, walk around and had the shorties like they got them a gang of YNs. I got these Muslims YNs, and, just trying to, just causing a lot of confusion with them. Right? So it fell apart. But I wanted something to go on for him. And I was the one who told him, we can go up there and get keys to the other masjid. But I'm not going to be up there. I don't even want keys to it. But man, you go up there, you get in good, and if you get some people who really want to do some classes, you get a certain amount of people, I'll come up there and teach the classes. If I don't go to Ahmed and ask him to give me a key, I'll tell him to have somebody come open the doors. If I really, really, really wanted to, not just me, a lot of people. And to keep it all the way 100, a lot of people turned the key down. That's the only reason why he got one, because everybody else didn't want it. We all had keys before. So this is one. So I'm mentioning this. She said that I betrayed her husband. So you know what I'm saying? Like I say, I'm not mad at them. I'm just explaining the situation, because it's always, and like I said, I'm not gonna call it weird. Whatever. So like, I don't need his permission. I done recorded the masjid before. I've been doing this before this man even came home. Years before this man came home. I'm talking about, wallahi, going back to like 2015. You see what I'm saying? To like 2015. I had them keys, man, to that masjid, man, from like 2014, 2015 to like 2018, 2019. Like right before COVID had hit, After that Ramadan was over, they changed the locks. But all I had to do was go to him and get a new key. I just didn't want one. So anyway, I'm looking at it like, what's going on? So then he calls me immediately. And you know, he's like, Ak, you heard me, man. Ak, you heard me. Ak, you heard me. I'm like, man, hold on. I was like, man, I just got a text from your wife. He was like, no, man, don't worry about that, man. That don't mean nothing. You heard me, man. You heard me bad. You heard me bad. I said, man, I hurt you bad. How? He said, you recorded the masjid. I said, you was right next to me when I told you I was finna go live. He gonna say, I said you can only record in the interview room. First and foremost, there's no such thing as an interview room. Okay? There's no such thing as an interview room. Now, on top of that, one, you liked the video. Secondly, when I walked in there, we was right next to each other when I started the live. I went through this way. He went in there to call his wife. When I came in there to talk to him more, he salamed the people, and the video is still floating around. He salamed everybody, but I went back out because he was on the phone with his wife. He was watching me record. When I sat next to him and said I couldn't post the video because my Wi-Fi wasn't on. And then when he went through, he asked, did you post it? I was like, yeah, let me post it once I turned my Wi-Fi on. So we talk all this time, video been up all these days. So I'm like, the interview room, I said that's where we was going to do the interview in that other room, but there's no such thing as an interview room. So that was not a conversation that we had. Oh man, man, you know, man, I love you, man, I love you. You know, like I betrayed him. So then he was like, because one of the good guys from the UK, he had commented on the video and said, is that masjid, is that carpet set up facing the right prayer direction? And because I put LOL, no. But he didn't put that on there like when the video first got put up there. So he was like, and you gonna laugh and say no, that ain't the right prayer direction. That's what the issue was. Like he was embarrassed. Like it had something to do with him. He didn't have a problem with the video until then. And I said to him, what am I supposed to lie to him? It's not the right prayer direction. You know that it's not the right prayer direction. It's not the right prayer direction. So they try to make like I was just posting it to make fun of the masjid when I'm bigging up the masjid in the video. And I'm putting it out there because I'm finna start coming for Ramadan, doing the classes, which, like the young brother, is sitting up saying, man, he never got to meet me in person until now. But he heard about me and what they were saying, and he was like, he seen in the video in the interview when I was saying we're going to start to do the classes, he was like, man, I was looking forward to that. So he wanted to know what happened. So I'm explaining what happened. So I said, wallahi, you was right next to me when I started the video. But I said the interview room. There is no interview room. You watch me walk past, you watch me walk in there. So I even had to tell his wife, he's in the video. But, you know what I'm saying? I just said to him, all right, you know what? We just going to chalk it up as a miscommunication. He put a thumbs up on the video. But because somebody else said, is that the right prayer direction? That's overseas. And I said, nah. Because it wasn't. Because they were somebody who listened to my videos and they know the issues. But we finna pull everything together. So after that, I was just like, every time I come out, man, it's always some stuff like this. And then especially with a person who, and because it was betrayal, because now he got a key. Because other people turned it down, so he ended up with it. This is just the reality. I'm not trying to downplay him. I'm not trying to diss him. But the reality of it is, he got a key because nobody else wanted it. So I don't know. So somehow I'm betraying him. Talking about he trusted me. I broke his trust because I came in there and recorded the masjid. And everybody who listened to the video, just like right now, I don't have no beef with him. This is why I never said nothing. It don't matter to me. It don't hurt me. I had keys years when that brother wasn't even never around. Even if I really, truly wanted to, I can go to Juma on Friday and talk to Ahmed and get a key right now. Because me and Ahmed don't have no problem. We never had. Ahmed know that I'm vocal. Ahmed know that I know some things. And Ahmed know that I know when he's wrong and certain things that he be saying. He already know that. I was like that when I got keys the first time. And I wasn't the brother who made copies of the keys and gave everybody else one. When I used to be in there on the weekends, Ahmed used to come in there. I'm the one who told him we can go up there and get a key from him. So how am I betraying him? I know that recording the masjid isn't a problem. But, I know sometimes people be going through things and they have stuff going on. It didn't make any sense to me. Especially knowing, and because I wasn't going to do anybody dirty, the whole masjid has cameras through the whole masjid. It was nothing for me to just go to Ahmed and say, hey Ahmed, pull the cameras. Pull the cameras. And look at me and him right here in the lobby. As I start to record. Everything's on camera. But I wasn't even finna take it that far. I just said, it's another situation. I come out, try to teach the brother, but help him do this when I really didn't have to. And they talking about some likes and views and this and that. When I do my videos, I can still say it now. Wallahi, I never say, y'all hit the like button like other people may do when you watch YouTube. Somebody subscribe, hit the like buttons. I never ask for likes. Likes don't even matter to me. I'm not chasing money. I'm not calling to myself. I'm not trying to get followers. I'm not trying to set up something to where I can start asking for Cash App money. Wallahi, it was a brother, man, the good guy in Arizona, told me to put my Cash App up because he wanted to give me some money. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not setting it up to set up something private and start charging people. I'm not after followers, likes, nothing, man. I'm not chasing none of that. So in reality, once that, I was just fed up because it was a whole lot of stuff, man, that was going on. And I was really trying to put him on to everything because of our history and because of the relationship I have with his wife. You know what I'm saying? And we had to go through a lot of rigmarole, but then whenever I see him, it's, man, I'm starting to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, cool, that's cool now, but it's too late. You know what I'm saying? It's too late. So, like I say, man, I don't got nothing against him, but in reality, that's what really happened, man. I'm done after that, man. That was just, for me, that was weird. Especially when I'm a person who told him, we can go up here, I can talk to Ahmed, we can get the keys, we can start doing whatever we want to do in that masjid. The first set of keys, once we went back and got that building, me, Ahmed, and this other brother, we had the first set of keys. When Ahmed got the locks done, he gave him the key. It was me, Ahmed, the brother who lived in the back, and this other brother. Wallahi, I sat down because this is when I was going through my Arabic. We was all sitting talking about how we was going to do the masjid, how the meetings was going to go, all these plans. So I asked him in Arabic because he didn't know how good my Arabic had got. So I started talking to him in Arabic about giving me keys to the masjid. And he started laughing and he told me in Arabic back that he gave the key to the other brother and for me to get copies of the key, get a copy of the key from him when he go make a copy for himself. So I looked at the brother and I knew the brother didn't understand Arabic. So I said, hey, Aki said, when you go get a copy of a key, to give me one. And then he started laughing again. So, he kind of looked at Ahmed and Ahmed was like, yeah. So we left from there, that moment, together and went and got keys. So the first 3 keys was Ahmed, me and him. I already knew what I could do in that building. You see what I'm saying? So it was just, like I say, man, people be going through stuff, but That's how everything fell apart, man. That's how everything fell apart. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, we'll just chalk it up as a miscommunication. But you know what I'm saying? It was just a horrible situation. But every time we come out, every time I go out, it's a horrible situation. And just like I had to tell the young brother, now I'm not gonna say nothing about none of these people that he's naming. All I said was this. Was there any real classes? Like when you going around, anything going on? Y'all got Jumar, y'all got the building, y'all doing anything? He was like, no, man, the brothers stopped going around them. We felt like we was around fake Muslims. We stopped going to the masjid. Right? I said, so look, they tried to make like the classes and things couldn't go on because I was there. 2 years done passed. I've been away from everybody for 2 years. Why ain't nothing still established? And then, this little pamphlet, this little Akida pamphlet, a person trying to convince me that every weekend they going up there teaching people Akida classes, which I'm being told something different. But to keep it 100, this stuff could have been taught in a day. This stuff could have been taught. I could have did that stuff in an hour. It's the same thing, the Akida pamphlet that I done gave to many Muslims. And it's been several Muslims who done had me grade their work. And they had lesson 1. They ended up having some more, but they had lesson 1. They supposedly teaching lesson 1. It's been people, man, who done hit me up and done sent me 3-4 lessons in a day. How was this thing being taught all this time? But I was, like I said, I let him say what he was saying, but I was being told something different from other people. But it's neither here nor there. But if the issue, nothing could go around, nothing could go, because I'm teaching Arab Islam and I'm teaching too high above people's head and I'm just trying to make them look phony. But the moral of the story is, it's these Druski types. These old people, not all of them, but they still trying to look for some gang glory and trying to look like, and they sitting around acting like they got shorties. And then sitting around, coming around trying to tell me how dumb they is. Oh man, you teaching them, that's too much, man. They dumb, man. They stupid kids. And all this weird stuff, man. They can't pay attention long and all this other little weird stuff. But what is we doing? But I'm in the class and I'm watching it and I'm holding their attention, man. This is just some old. So sometimes those old Druski types that do gang stuff and all that, trying to be somebody OG, sometimes, man, they hinder people from learning Islam properly, and then they can't even teach it. I'm talking about, man, people who ain't even really read their whole Quran. They don't know nothing about no real class, and like dude said, they'll watch something like Monday, let's say they're watching Mufti Muhammad, and then when they see them later on that Monday, they'll be repeating what Mufti Muhammad said. But he was like, with me, it wasn't like that. He was like, other than that, when they try to repeat something they heard on a video, they sound like they don't know what they talking about. And if they is saying something, it go against the life that they showing us. Like I go around this one, he Abdul such and such. I'm around this one, he's this, and this. And then when I get around this one, it's like, call me Dookie. You know what I'm saying? No, don't call me no Muslim name. Everybody call me Dookie. This is strange to these shorties. It don't make sense to them. And like he said, they was always trying to OG. They was acting like Druskis to them. But anyway, man, this ain't got long enough. So that's what really happened. I explained a little bit to him, but I told him I'm gonna make a video because he hit me up Tuesday. He asked me some more questions about some things, and when can I put something up together? But that's why, man, every time I come out, somebody come up with some type of foolishness. Like imagine that. Allegedly, I recorded a video when I set up and said to him, I'm finna go live. The live video is still there. And I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna say, you know what? He didn't put no thumbs up on the video. He didn't thumbs it up. He didn't even know the video was up there until 3-4 days later. And like I said, I don't know if people got in his ear. I'm not even saying nothing bad about the video. So, but because they was trying to say I was doing this for likes and all this, and I even showed him to keep it 100 with the video I did with him and the video I did with his wife, people was hitting thumbs downs on it. I even showed it to him. And wallahi, it wasn't me. I think it was people from around here. They was hitting thumbs downs on the video. So, to be honest, and we're trying to get into the algorithm, they videos actually hurt my channel. Because people from around here was hitting thumbs down on it. Wallahi, I showed him that people was disliking the video. So, I just went ahead and pulled them down. They wasn't helping me. I'm not chasing nothing. People didn't like it. And I wasn't showing him like to be low down. I was just like, look, people, they disliking the video with his wife. They dislike what he taught. And some people was jumping in the comments saying some silly stuff. And I was just deleting it. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what happened, man. That's what happened, bro. That's why I fell apart. That's why I didn't do no class. And like right now, and he don't have to comment, but like it's a Muslim brother who want to come down here now. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say where he's from or put his information out, but he's not the only one. It's been Muslim sisters wanting to come to the city. You know what I'm saying? Being some people from different areas and different states trying to come to the city and link up with a person, man. And I had to figure out and try to maneuver and do things because I don't want to take them around this foolishness, man. It's foolishness. And to me, it's extreme foolishness, man, because ain't none of these people young. We talking about people pushing 60, 55, 57, 61, 62, 65. We're not talking about young people, man. And like I say, I've been gone. But these people who selling drugs out of the house that the masjid own from behind the masjid and sitting up trying to Druski these youngins and getting drunk and wrecking into a police car. Oh man, you can't say nothing about that. Oh yeah, that's a problem. But oh man, the brother always trying to talk about a hadith. Oh, that's fine. But you can't say nothing about the criminal like they sitting up saying, man, we getting our pills when we want to get our pills, when we want to get right this and that. They the ones who giving it to us. We'll sit up and see some of them be in Jumar with them, pray with them in Jumar, and then later on that day get some pills and stuff from them. Listening to them try to give us this OG game, but like he said, old NIGA swag, old NIGA game. But all that's perfectly fine. And now he out there, he strapped back up, you know, whatever he got going on, he's staying overly intoxicated, trying to keep his head level by being overly intoxicated, out there on some foolishness, you know what I'm saying? And I just happened to be out there that night. And my thing is this. I've been watching this exact same thing for over 20 years. Man, they can't, and I hate to say this, man, and I'm not trying to slander nobody, but man, you can't even put all of us in a room together and figure out how to put in a light bulb. It'll turn into an argument over how to put in a light bulb, and while they arguing, I'll just put it in. And then they'll be like, oh, man, the brother think he's better than everybody. Or they'll just keep, man, let's have a meeting about having a meeting about having a meeting so that we can have a meeting about what we should do. Man, forget all that, man. I'm just finna start teaching. We ain't got to keep having 50, 60 meetings about having another meeting. This ain't no game. So that's what happened, man. You know, that's what happened, young brother. And I'm saying that because other people was wanting to know. That's what happened. I wasn't never going to say nothing about it. It is what it is. They could go say, and if that's what he think and that's how he feel, cool, he can have that. We'll just chalk it up as a miscommunication. But I don't need no permission from no Ahmed to record that masjid. When he was supposed to be given a kubbar, y'all didn't ask me to get Ahmed positioned then, though, did you? When he was supposed to do this, when they want me to come do this, it didn't matter no difference. And I'm not making fun of the masjid, which I could have. I could have said a lot of stuff, but I didn't. I'm bigging up the masjid because I'm finna start coming being around and try to pull this stuff together. But lo and behold, we just gonna chalk it up to me. It all fell apart again. It all fell apart again, man. Over some, what I'm going to say, weird stuff. I ain't saying that brother weird. I'm not going to insult that brother, man. I've been knowing him for a lifetime. But I always knew that day was going to come. And that's why I always told him, like, you're going to end up exactly like these brothers right here, man. You're going to do the exact same thing. I only want to take you up here and get keys to this masjid and start dealing with this, because I'm not going to be around to monitor and watch everything that go on, because I know when I leave and when I come back, you're going to be falling into all this exact same stuff. And that's what happened, man. Anyway, man, y'all excuse the whole rant, but the point is, tying into the Druski thing, sometimes they might not be necessarily calling people to crime, but with all that old head, I'm almost 60 years old, but I still need viceroy recognition. Let me sit up here and tell y'all a story about how the GDs beat me up real bad one time. And when I see them right now, I'll be like, hey, man, y'all remember y'all beat me up? Let them know, cats. And then they sit around talking about what they shouldn't be talked to about. It's garbage, man. And these is true stories. You know what I'm saying? You only a snap away from having 60 candles in your birthday cake. and all this stuff that people got going on. You know what I'm saying? This stuff, man. But anyway, man, let me get off here, man. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, man. Y'all, everybody, man, it's just time, man. Like, just look at the world. Look at the Muslim Ummah, man. Look at everything that's going on, man. The marriages, the drama, the fighting. And just like I say, the drama even here, man. You know what I'm saying? Get in your Quran, man, and get into some hadiths if you can, man. Learn that way. Because there's a lot of people spewing a lot of phoniness, man. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.